We got a brand new trial on Court TV set to begin today. The Baby Evelyn Murder Trial. I know you're going to remember this case, my friends. A Tennessee mother named Megan Boswell is the accused. She's being accused of murdering her 15-month-old daughter, Evelyn, who you see on the right there. Jury selection starts this morning. Court TV's Vinnie Politan has more.
I just want her back. That's all I want. I've been so long without her.
That's 18-year-old Megan Boswell in February of 2020 talking about her missing toddler, Evelyn.
Evelyn. Hi.
15-month-old Evelyn was reported missing in February, even though she was last seen months before.
And I know a lot of people are like, oh, why didn't you report it missing earlier? Because my mom threatened me, and I just want her back.
Boswell told police her mother had taken Evelyn.
We have been looking for baby Evelyn since last Tuesday. We've been working 24/7 nonstop. We've received a number of conflicting, inaccurate statements from the mother, Megan Boswell, Evelyn's mother.
When Evelyn wasn't with Megan's mother or her own father, the investigation revealed Megan was lying.
As a result, she has been charged with false reporting.
Megan was arrested and taken into custody. 10 days later, 2 months after Evelyn was last seen, Megan's father called police and suggested they search his property.
During the search, investigators discovered human remains believed to be those of a 15-month-old girl.
Megan was charged with premeditated murder, child abuse, child neglect, abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and 12 counts of lying to police.
We have filed a notice to seek a sentence of imprisonment for life without the possibility of parole.
Court testimony revealed Evelyn was found in Megan's old playhouse behind a shed, tightly wound in a fleece blanket, wrapped in aluminum foil, then a trash bag, and shoved head first while alive into a trash can. The medical examiner determined her death was intentional.
Vinnie Politan reporting there. This was one of those cases that really stuck with me. It was a case that came up during the pandemic a lot, and finally we're getting to trial today. So we're going to talk about what kind of jury both sides are going to want and the lies that this mother told. Let's bring back in private investigator and military veteran Manuel Gomez and retired criminal defense attorney and author Kirk Nurmi. Manuel, to you first on a point on the investigation. I think one thing people found so offensive was Megan Boswell tried to blame Ethan Perry, who is serving in the military, stationed in Louisiana. He serves in the Army, and it was an impossibility that baby Evelyn could have been with him. Investigators figured that out quickly, and that was what was the initial hook, as you know, to get her on the false reports, to lodge her before they proceeded with more charges. Tell me, what does that say to you when you're working a case and then you discover a big lie from your suspect?
Well, that it proves to me right there that, she fabricated this because she was scared, and she comes from a highly dysfunctional family, okay? And the fact that she picked this guy, right, shows you that she's not a good thinker. Because the fact is, he was nowhere near this child, and he wasn't even in the state at the time of this child going missing. On top of that, Julie, this is another case, unfortunately, of Child Protective Services letting a child fall through the cracks. This child was reported for neglect and abuse before the Child Protective Services, and they didn't do their job. This child was failed on so many levels. But I think one of the people that we really need to look into, Julie, and that disturbs me highly, is that the fact that the father knew that the remains were possibly on that estate. There is no doubt in my mind he knew what happened.
I love what you're saying there. And that makes you mad, especially when you're a prosecutor. You might have people connected with the case that, knew something, didn't do something. It really angers you, but they may need him as a witness, right? So maybe he hasn't been charged for that reason. Don't know. Great points, Manuel. Kirk, I want to ask you, please, about the jury. Let's look at this from the harder side, the Megan Boswell side, defending this one. What kind of jurors would you try to pick for her if you were her attorney, Kirk?
Boy, that's a tough one, Julie, because one of the things, you back it up, one of the things, if there was ever a plea offer made, if I have a client like Miss Boswell, obviously I'm not going to want to go to trial. I'm not going to want to stand in front of that jury, because the jury is going to hate her, right? I'm going to advise that client that the jury is going to hate you. And what I'm going to do then, when we get to trial, when we get to that jury selection, is I'm going to confront that. It doesn't make jury selection very pleasant, but there's no pleasant facts here. So you're going to have to look at that jury and say, does anyone think, looking at her, that this is a person capable of killing their child? Because there are people that will make judgments upon that just out of hearing the evidence and just out of looking at the accused. So you're going to want to weed some of that anger out as best you can by embracing those facts, and then looking at it, trying to get people that are open-minded to the evidence, because you want to make sure it's not going to be about her innocence per se. It's going to be about defending her constitutional rights. So you want to make sure that you have jurors that are open to both sides, and weeding that hatred out is the initial way to do it.
I love those points. Kirk, tell me, you mentioned plea agreements. Even on a morning like this, practically, kind of take us behind the scenes. If you're repping her, would you be going to the prosecutors before you start picking and say, is there anything we can possibly do here?
Well, certainly it depends on the discussions prior to that, because clients can change their minds a lot. There can be a lot of bravado. If there was a plea offer made, someone like Miss Boswell, who's prone to, say, lying, thinks she's going to get away with it again, and is going to be defiant. She's going to have the bravado, no jury's going to convict me kind of thing at her young age. Maybe that bravado wears off when she walks into the courtroom and she's seeing that jury being selected. So if she changes her mind to any plea offer, then you see if the prosecutor's open to it. So mainly, you really, before you go to a prosecutor or something like that, you want to make sure your client agrees to it, because you lose credibility with the prosecutor if you're begging for a plea and then your client doesn't want to take it.
Oh, sure. Great point. Kirk Nurmi, Manuel Gomez, thank you both so much for weighing in. This is a big one. As you both know, it made national news as soon as Baby Evelyn was missing. And then the result was what we had all hoped it wouldn't be, with her found dead. And now the quest for justice officially kicks off with trial this morning and the picking of the jury. I know we have to let you both go. Manuel Gomez, Kirk Nurmi, thank you both so much for all of your insight this morning. We'll look forward to having you both back very soon.